How's everybody doing?
Also,
Good.
Xavier's been out, but it seemed like he was pretty involved in what you guys were doing today. I just wondered what you can still learn about him on days like this.
A lot of mental. I think I know discussing it with you guys last year with Rasheed and kind of going through the process. We throw a lot to these guys in practice mentally. So right now the biggest thing is for him to understand what we do offensively, and then not just one position but all the positions. So I think for him it's really valuable for him to be able to tell me while we're standing there in practice where he's supposed to go and what he's supposed to do, more so than the physical routes. You know, it's been really good for him. He's been great.
What are the traits you're looking for in a third running back as you decide?
Yeah, somebody that can obviously run the football, but also catch the football and be good in protection. Kind of a microcosm of what that position is. When you have that third spot there, you want somebody that can truly be able to know where they're supposed to go in protection. That's always very important for us as coaches, for the quarterbacks, making sure you're in sync with the linemen and tight end. So that part's huge. But at the same time, making plays too, you know, and there's going to be a great healthy competition, which there always is, and that'll be important. And I think you really won't truly see that until training camp.
Matt, Travis Kelce mentioned in his podcast that Andy Reid came with 100 new plays. I mean, I don't know exactly how accurate that number is with 100, but you always do have an evolution of this offense.
Yeah.
Just the exciting way that you guys are trying to evolve the offense with something that works to continue to try to make it different.
Yeah, that's always been a staple of Coach Reid, and Kels is now, what is he, year 13? And so he's been through like 1,300 plays every offseason through Coach and the new plays he puts in. But that's kind of, I think, what's fun about the offseason process is doing that. You keep those vets, keep their minds thinking. And so whether it's a new play or whether it's something that we want to experiment with maybe it's an older play, we'll do the same thing. But it keeps these guys not just going through the motions, but also trying to stay great at the foundation of the offense.
Matt, how much of your offseason evaluation was focused on the deep passing game and trying to improve there?
There was quite a bit. It's a unique question because we always try to go into every year with that mindset and that thought. And so you want to have the initiative to be able to be great at that and practice it from day one. We've had some success here early on. We got to keep it going. But it is a mindset. And then you pair that with what the defenses are going to give you. You know, I think we've seen kind of an evolution of not just against the Chiefs in recent years, but also in the NFL in general, the deep shots aren't there as much. So just having that balance of being able to still have that touchdown, the check down mentality, but be smart with when we do take those shots.
How do you get the best out of Kadarius Toney this year?
The biggest thing is going to be making sure that we understand now. He understands the foundation mentally of where to go, where to line up. That's a big part of the process. Then the next part of the process is just making the simple plays be simple. He's so talented. And we as coaches then need to be able to put him in the right spot to not overdo it with him, but let him kind of go into this and just let things play out, because when he has the ball in his hands, he's special. But it's gonna timing is important, and you want to make sure, I think, you know, when you get in training camp, you put the pads on, you build that relationship with the quarterbacks. That's going to be key.
Every offseason, it seems like there's a point of emphasis for Pat. Just in general, what are you guys trying to zone in on this time around?
Well, I'll start off by just saying any new receiver timing, always. So that's so key to get that down now so that when we get in training camp, you hammer that down. And then I think, like, for Pat, it's probably, we always talk about matching his eyes with his feet. We always talk about being smart in situational football, third down and in the red zone, protecting the football. And I thought he did a really good job of that last year in that area. So this year we're really trying to go back to making sure that if there's been plays where his feet has had, for instance, if there's a play where he has a 3-step or 5-step from the gun and he's been kind of mixing it up with his feet, we want to maybe get back to, hey, let's go back to trying it on 3-step, ball out, versus is it 5, is it 3, and then work to the 5-step afterwards. So it's without getting too crazy into the minutia of it, it's something that we're working on footwork-wise with him, which I think is great for him.
Last four, Adam, maybe Todd,
Hey,
PJ.
hey, Matt, now that you've had a chance to coach Carson Wentz for a couple months, is there something maybe you've learned, some things you've learned about him that maybe you didn't know going into this?
You know, I've never had the experience to really interact with him, you know, on the field or off the field. Just from there's been the family tree of people that have coached him that I've heard, and I've always heard great things about how much of a true professional he is. I remember years ago when he came in here as a young quarterback and played here in Kansas City, and just remembering how big he was, size-wise, physically. Then matching it up with his arm talent, being able to move, and then you take that now in his career, his experience, and so he's come in here, and I think it's probably for the first time more of a unique role to him, where he comes in and knows that he's coming in as a backup. So that takes, you know, there's a professionalism to that of understanding that, but then also not taking all the stuff you've done in your career and trying to come in here and say, well, this is how I've done it this way or that way. He's been phenomenal with just coming in and learning what we do. He's been great with Pat. And then on the field, I think his accuracy's been really good. So it's been impressive where he's at in a short amount of time.
When you say he's been great with Pat, can you elaborate on that?
Just in the meeting rooms, I think when guys like him, veteran guys, come in, it's their first time kind of learning the system. There's more about the ears and listening and just getting a feel for how, you know, Pat does things and how we do things, and then implementing when the time is right. He's done a great job with that. And then we get to the practice field, or get on the field, and he's taking the plays that he's learning that are new, and in my opinion, he's getting the ball out on time and in rhythm faster than most people would learning this offense. So I think mentally he's really taking it in, and he's very accurate with not always knowing where to go.
Nate?
Matt, I have two topics. The first one is just where are you all right now with the evaluation of Kingsley and Wanya? And obviously we saw Wanya kind of slide to both positions.
Sure.
Inside and outside today.
Yeah, it's definitely a moving process. Things are just like for wide receivers at the rookie position. Things can go fast. There's new protection calls for Kingsley. Understanding how we do things, techniques and fundamentals can be, you know, very different. So I think they're doing a good job right now. I'm always excited to get to training camp and see what it's like when the pads come on. You know, this essentially becomes a passing camp usually, so there's not many runs. So most of the time it's advantage defense to be honest, because there's a lot of passes. So when we get to the run blocking, when we get to the play actions, et cetera, that are real, I'm excited to see where he's at. The same with Wanya. You know, I know and got to see what he did last year. He has the mentality. It's, again, piecing it now, knowing that this is a competition to come in here and compete. But technique-wise, fundamentally, mentally right now they're doing great. They got to put it together both mentally and physically in training camp.
And then secondly, with the, I don't know if you saw this, but with the Player Association potentially putting a proposal that would push the offseason program to either, I guess, mid-June, early July, just how unusual would that be, and how different would it be as a former head coach, obviously a coordinator, to try to get things organized when you're starting obviously later than April?
Yeah, I and we always joke as coaches, as coaches we're all creatures of habit, so you get used to these schedules. But at the same point in time, I think you realize that this league is always looking to evolve and adapt to do what's most efficient. So I heard that as well. I didn't see or read any articles, but I've heard people talk. Whatever they end up coming up with, we'll adjust to. And I think that's part of the process, is they'll be creative with it. And whatever it is, hopefully it's beneficial to everybody. And however we work with that, Coach Reed will be great with the schedules. And I don't know when that gets put into place, but I'm sure there's a reason behind it. And I would support whatever it is. And you got to adapt in this league. So if you can't adapt, you won't survive.
One of those things you guys did last year was you have a fullback,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I don't know if you just look at 42 out there, and it's because he's 42. It says RB on the roster. But
Yeah.
Are you guys like how everything went last year, using the position that way, or are you considering more of a fullback?
I think it's probably to be determined yet. We're not against it. We obviously didn't do it last year. We've done it in the past. I'm sure probably like most rosters in the NFL, a lot of that has to do with special teams, that position, and how you use that. And then this new rule with the kickoff return and kickoff, like roster-wise, how are you going to use guys? But if Coach Reed and our offense decides to go that way, then we'll take a look at that. He's done a great job. in that. But there, again, this being a passing camp, there's not a lot of fullback formations that we're using right now.
Last one really quick.
Yep.
It seems that like Nikko Remigio has kind of been on the brink the past couple of
Yeah.
training camps. What's it gonna take for him just to break that glass ceiling?
Keep doing what he's doing. I was so proud of him last year. It was unfortunate for him to get hurt like he did, but Nikko is a prime example of an undrafted free agent that comes in, is a absolute true professional every day in the meeting rooms, every day at practice. It's the same speed, it's the same mentality, and you root for guys like that. You're bringing his name up. Obviously, he's showing up, and you see that. Again, guys like him, they find a role as well, and they got to make an impact on special teams. So I'm rooting for him. I think he's a great kid, and could be a fun story.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you,
All
Bill.
right, take care.
Thanks, Matt.